How strong is your English? If these phrases and words feel easy and natural to you, your English is already at a very high level. Ready to challenge your English vocabulary? Let's begin. A bit miffed. A bit miffed. Meaning slightly annoyed or mildly offended. Slightly annoyed or mildly offended. I was a bit miffed when they made the decision without even asking for my opinion. I was a bit miffed when they made the decision without even asking for my opinion. A bit of a faff. A bit of a faff. Meaning something that is unnecessarily complicated, inconvenient, or more trouble than it's worth. Something that is unnecessarily complicated, inconvenient, or more trouble than it's worth. It's a bit of a faff getting into the city during rush hour, so I usually leave early to avoid the chaos. It's a bit of a faff getting into the city during rush hour, so I usually leave early to avoid the chaos. A bit tetchy. A bit tetchy. Meaning slightly irritable, touchy, or easily annoyed. Slightly irritable, touchy, or easily annoyed. He's been a bit tetchy all morning, so I think it's best to give him some space. He's been a bit tetchy all morning, so I think it's best to give him some space. A fair weather friend. A fair weather friend. Meaning someone who is only supportive during good times, but disappears when things become difficult. Someone who is only supportive during good times, but disappears when things become difficult. I realised he was just a fair weather friend when he stopped calling as soon as things got tough for me. I realised he was just a fair weather friend when he stopped calling as soon as things got tough for me. A flicker of doubt. A flicker of doubt. Meaning a brief or slight feeling of uncertainty. A brief or slight feeling of uncertainty. As he stepped onto the stage, a flicker of doubt crossed his mind, but he quickly pushed it aside. As he stepped onto the stage, a flicker of doubt crossed his mind, but he quickly pushed it aside. A load of tosh. A load of tosh. Meaning complete nonsense, something that is untrue or ridiculous. Complete nonsense, something that is untrue or ridiculous. Don't believe everything you read online. Half of it is a load of tosh. Don't believe everything you read online. Half of it is a load of tosh. After the dust settles. After the dust settles. Meaning after a situation becomes calm again following chaos, conflict, or excitement. After a situation becomes calm again following chaos, conflict, or excitement. Let's make any big decisions after the dust settles, and we've had time to think clearly. Let's make any big decisions after the dust settles and we've had time to think clearly. Air your dirty laundry. Air your dirty laundry. Meaning, to publicly discuss private problems, arguments, or personal matters that should remain confidential. To publicly discuss private problems, arguments, or personal matters that should remain confidential. It's unprofessional to air your dirty laundry on social media every time you have a disagreement at work. It's unprofessional to air your dirty laundry on social media every time you have a disagreement at work. All of a dither. All of a dither. Meaning, in a state of nervous excitement, confusion, or agitation, usually over something small. In a state of nervous excitement, confusion, or agitation, usually over something small. She was all of a dither, trying to get everything ready before the guests arrived. She was all of a dither, trying to get everything ready before the guests arrived. All over the shop. All over the shop. Meaning, disorganized, scattered, or lacking focus. Disorganized, scattered, or lacking focus. My thoughts were all over the shop during the interview, and I struggled to give a clear answer. My thoughts were all over the shop during the interview, and I struggled to give a clear answer. At sixes and sevens. At sixes and sevens. Meaning, in a state of confusion, disorder, or disagreement. In a state of confusion, disorder, or disagreement. The office was at sixes and sevens after the manager resigned unexpectedly. The office was at sixes and sevens after the manager resigned unexpectedly. Away with the fairies. Away with the fairies. Meaning, not paying attention to reality, daydreaming, slightly out of touch. Not paying attention to reality, daydreaming, slightly out of touch. He looked completely away with the fairies during the meeting, staring out the window instead of listening. He looked completely away with the fairies during the meeting, staring out the window instead of listening. Bag of tricks. Bag of tricks. Meaning, a set of skills, techniques, or strategies that someone can use when needed. A set of skills, techniques, or strategies that someone can use when needed. As a seasoned negotiator, she always has a full bag of tricks ready for difficult conversations. As a seasoned negotiator, she always has a full bag of tricks ready for difficult conversations. Bandied around. Bandied around. Meaning, repeatedly mentioned or discussed, often casually or without much thought. Repeatedly mentioned or discussed, often casually or without much thought. His name has been bandied around as a potential candidate for the role, but nothing has been confirmed yet. His name has been bandied around as a potential candidate for the role, but nothing has been confirmed yet. Be all and end all. Be all and end all. Meaning, the most important thing, the ultimate or only thing that matters. The most important thing, the ultimate or only thing that matters. Money isn't the be-all and end-all. Happiness and health matter far more in the long run. Money isn't the be-all and end-all. Happiness and health matter far more in the long run. Bells and whistles. Bells and whistles. Meaning, extra features or added details that are impressive but not essential. Extra features or added details that are impressive but not essential. The basic version works perfectly well. You don't need all the bells and whistles to get the job done. The basic version works perfectly well. You don't need all the bells and whistles to get the job done. Bide your time. Bide your time. Meaning, to wait patiently for the right moment to act. To wait patiently for the right moment to act. Instead of reacting immediately, she chose to bide her time and wait for the perfect opportunity to respond. Instead of reacting immediately, she chose to bide her time and wait for the perfect opportunity to respond. Bits and bobs. Bits and bobs. Meaning, various small items or miscellaneous things. Various small items or miscellaneous things. I just need to pick up a few bits and bobs from the supermarket before heading home. I just need to pick up a few bits and bobs from the supermarket before heading home. Bodged job. Bodged job. Meaning, a badly done piece of work, usually rushed or poorly repaired. A badly done piece of work, usually rushed or poorly repaired. The sink started leaking again because the previous plumber did a complete bodged job. The sink started leaking again because the previous plumber did a complete bodged job. Budge over. Budge over. Meaning, to move slightly to make space for someone else. To move slightly to make space for someone else. Can you budge over a bit so I can squeeze in next to you? Can you budge over a bit so I can squeeze in next to you? Burning question. Burning question. Meaning, an important or urgent question that someone really wants answered. An important or urgent question that someone really wants answered. The burning question on everyone's mind is whether the company can recover from such a major setback. The burning question on everyone's mind is whether the company can recover from such a major setback. By hook or by crook. By hook or by crook. Meaning, by any means necessary, whether honest or dishonest. By any means necessary, whether honest or dishonest. He was determined to secure the contract by hook or by crook, no matter how difficult the negotiations became. He was determined to secure the contract by hook or by crook, no matter how difficult the negotiations became. Cash cow, cash cow, meaning a product, service, or asset that consistently generates a large amount of profit. A product, service, or asset that consistently generates a large amount of profit. The company's subscription model has become a real cash cow, bringing in steady revenue every month. The company's subscription model has become a real cash cow, bringing in steady revenue every month. Caught red-handed, caught red-handed, meaning caught in the act of doing something wrong, caught in the act of doing something wrong. He was caught red-handed trying to copy answers during the exam. He was caught red-handed trying to copy answers during the exam. Chance my arm, chance my arm, meaning to take a risk or try something even though success is unlikely. To take a risk or try something even though success is unlikely. I knew it was a long shot, but I decided to chance my arm and ask for a promotion anyway. I knew it was a long shot, but I decided to chance my arm and ask for a promotion anyway. Chock-a-block, chock-a-block, meaning completely full, packed tightly with people or things. Completely full, packed tightly with people or things. The train was chock-a-block with commuters, and there wasn't even room to move. The train was chock-a-block with commuters, and there wasn't even room to move. Chuffed to bits, chuffed to bits, meaning extremely pleased or delighted, extremely pleased or delighted. I was chuffed to bits when I found out I'd passed the exam with top marks. I was chuffed to bits when I found out I'd passed the exam with top marks. Clock that, meaning to notice or recognize something. To notice or recognize something. Did you clock that look he gave when she mentioned the bonus? Did you clock that look he gave when she mentioned the bonus? Clutching at straws, clutching at straws, meaning trying to find a solution or excuse when you are in a difficult situation and have very little chance of success. Trying to find a solution or excuse when you are in a difficult situation and have very little chance of success. He knew his argument was weak, but he kept adding random points, clearly clutching at straws. He knew his argument was weak, but he kept adding random points, clearly clutching at straws. Cooped up, cooped up, meaning kept inside a small or confined space for too long. Kept inside a small or confined space for too long. I've been cooped up indoors all week, so I can't wait to get outside and clear my head. I've been cooped up indoors all week, so I can't wait to get outside and clear my head. Dabble in, meaning to take part in something casually or superficially, without serious commitment. To take part in something casually or superficially, without serious commitment. He likes to dabble in photography at weekends, but he's never taken it up professionally. He likes to dabble in photography at weekends, but he's never taken it up professionally. Didn't stack up, didn't stack up, meaning to not seem logical, believable, or convincing. To not seem logical, believable, or convincing. His explanation didn't stack up, so we decided to look into the issue more closely. His explanation didn't stack up, so we decided to look into the issue more closely. Doing my head in, doing my head in, meaning extremely annoying or frustrating someone. Extremely annoying or frustrating someone. That constant drilling next door is really doing my head in. That constant drilling next door is really doing my head in. Don't dilly-dally. Don't dilly-dally. Meaning, don't waste time. Stop being slow or indecisive. Don't waste time. Stop being slow or indecisive. Don't dilly-dally. We'll miss the train if we don't leave now. Don't dilly-dally. We'll miss the train if we don't leave now. Don't get lippy. Don't get lippy. Meaning, don't talk back or answer in a rude or cheeky way. Don't talk back or answer in a rude or cheeky way. Don't get lippy with me. I'm just trying to help you sort it out. Don't get lippy with me. I'm just trying to help you sort it out. Don't kid yourself. Don't kid yourself. Meaning, don't deceive yourself. Be realistic about a situation. Don't deceive yourself. Be realistic about a situation. Don't kid yourself. If you don't put in the effort, you won't see real results. Don't kid yourself. If you don't put in the effort, you won't see real results. Don't sweat it. Don't sweat it. Meaning, don't worry about it. It's not a problem. Don't worry about it. It's not a problem. Don't sweat it. We've all made mistakes like that before. Don't sweat it. We've all made mistakes like that before. Done and dusted. Done and dusted. Meaning, completed successfully. Finished and settled. Completed successfully. Finished and settled. The contract's signed and the deal's done and dusted. Now we can finally move forward. The contract's signed and the deal's done and dusted. Now we can finally move forward. Eager beaver. Eager beaver. Meaning, a person who is very enthusiastic and keen to do something, sometimes overly so. A person who is very enthusiastic and keen to do something, sometimes overly so. He's such an eager beaver. He volunteered for 3 extra projects before anyone else had even read the brief. He's such an eager beaver. He volunteered for 3 extra projects before anyone else had even read the brief. Even keel. Even keel. Meaning, a calm and balanced emotional state, steady and composed behavior. A calm and balanced emotional state, steady and composed behavior. Despite the pressure of the deadline, she managed to keep an even keel and guide the team through crisis. Despite the pressure of the deadline, she managed to keep an even keel and guide the team through crisis. Every nook and cranny. Every nook and cranny. Meaning, every small corner or hidden part of a place. Every small corner or hidden part of a place. We searched every nook and cranny of the house before finally finding the missing keys. We searched every nook and cranny of the house before finally finding the missing keys. Every which way. Every which way. Meaning, in all directions, in a very disorganized or chaotic manner. In all directions, in a very disorganized or chaotic manner. When the box fell off the shelf, papers went flying every which way across the room. When the box fell off the shelf, papers went flying every which way across the room. Fall by the wayside. Fall by the wayside. Meaning, to gradually fail, be forgotten, or stop being supported as time passes. To gradually fail, be forgotten, or stop being supported as time passes. Many New Year's resolutions fall by the wayside after just a few weeks. Many New Year's resolutions fall by the wayside after just a few weeks. Feel a bit woozy. Feel a bit woozy. Meaning, to feel slightly dizzy, faint, or unwell. To feel slightly dizzy, faint, or unwell. I skipped breakfast this morning and now I'm starting to feel a bit woozy. I skipped breakfast this morning and now I'm starting to feel a bit woozy. Finger on the pulse. Finger on the pulse. Meaning, to be well informed about the latest developments or trends in a particular area. To be well informed about the latest developments or trends in a particular area. A good manager always keeps their finger on the pulse of what's happening within the team. A good manager always keeps their finger on the pulse of what's happening within the team. Flight of fancy. Flight of fancy. Meaning, an imaginative but unrealistic idea or notion. An imaginative but unrealistic idea or notion. His plan to launch a luxury hotel on the moon was dismissed as nothing more than a flight of fancy. His plan to launch a luxury hotel on the moon was dismissed as nothing more than a flight of fancy. Food for thought. Food for thought. Meaning, something that makes you think seriously about a topic. Something that makes you think seriously about a topic. Her comments about work-life balance really gave me some food for thought. Her comments about work-life balance really gave me some food for thought. Foot the bill. Foot the bill. Meaning, to pay for something, especially when it's expensive or unexpected. To pay for something, especially when it's expensive or unexpected. The company agreed to foot the bill for the repairs after the equipment failed. The company agreed to foot the bill for the repairs after the equipment failed. Get a wriggle on. Get a wriggle on. Meaning, to hurry up, to start moving or acting more quickly. To hurry up, to start moving or acting more quickly. Come on, get a wriggle on. We'll be late if we don't leave now. Come on, get a wriggle on. We'll be late if we don't leave now. Give me a buzz. Give me a buzz. Meaning, call me on the phone. Call me on the phone. If you need any help with the project, just give me a buzz later this afternoon. If you need any help with the project, just give me a buzz later this afternoon. Go ballistic. Go ballistic. Meaning, to become extremely angry or react very strongly. To become extremely angry or react very strongly. He'll go ballistic if he finds out we missed the deadline again. He'll go ballistic if he finds out we missed the deadline again. Gone balmy. Gone balmy. Meaning, to have become crazy or unreasonable, usually in a humorous way. To have become crazy or unreasonable, usually in a humorous way. He must have gone balmy if he thinks I'm waking up at 4 a.m. for a jog. He must have gone balmy if he thinks I'm waking up at 4 a.m. for a jog. Goody two-shoes. Goody two-shoes. Meaning, a person who is smugly well-behaved or self-righteous about following rules. A person who is smugly well-behaved or self-righteous about following rules. Don't act like a goody two-shoes. We all know you've bent the rules before. Don't act like a goody two-shoes. We all know you've bent the rules before. Grin and bear it. Grin and bear it. Meaning, to accept something unpleasant without complaining. To accept something unpleasant without complaining. I didn't enjoy the long flight, but I just had to grin and bear it. I didn't enjoy the long flight, but I just had to grin and bear it. Have a knack for. Have a knack for. Meaning, to have a natural talent or special skill for doing something. To have a natural talent or special skill for doing something. I have a knack for remembering people's names, even years after meeting them. I have a knack for remembering people's names, even years after meeting them. Have the gall. Have the gall, meaning to have the nerve or audacity to do something, usually something inappropriate or shocking. To have the nerve or audacity to do something, usually something inappropriate or shocking. How do you have the gall to criticize others when you haven't contributed anything yourself? How do you have the gall to criticize others when you haven't contributed anything yourself? Hell for leather. Hell for leather. Meaning, at full speed, as fast as possible. At full speed, as fast as possible. When the rain started pouring down, we ran hell for leather back to the car. When the rain started pouring down, we ran hell for leather back to the car. I'll swing by. I'll swing by. Meaning, I will briefly visit or stop somewhere. I will briefly visit or stop somewhere. I'll swing by your place after work and drop off the documents. I'll swing by your place after work and drop off the documents. I'm floundering. I'm floundering. Meaning, I'm struggling or failing to cope with something. I'm struggling or failing to cope with something. I'm floundering in this new role because I haven't had proper training yet. I'm floundering in this new role because I haven't had proper training yet. I'm just nipping out. I'm just nipping out. Meaning, I'm going out briefly and will be back soon. I'm going out briefly and will be back soon. I'm just nipping out to grab some milk. I'll be back in 10 minutes. I'm just nipping out to grab some milk. I'll be back in 10 minutes. I'm not biting. I'm not biting. Meaning, I'm not going to react to that. I'm not rising to the bait. I'm not going to react to that. I'm not rising to the bait. You're clearly trying to wind me up, but I'm not biting. You're clearly trying to wind me up, but I'm not biting. I'm up the wall. I'm up the wall. Meaning, I'm extremely stressed, frustrated, or overwhelmed. I'm extremely stressed, frustrated, or overwhelmed. I've had 3 deadlines, endless emails, and no sleep. I'm up the wall today. I've had 3 deadlines, endless emails, and no sleep. I'm up the wall today. I've got the gist. I've got the gist. Meaning, I understand the main idea, even if I don't know every detail. I understand the main idea, even if I don't know every detail. You don't need to explain every detail. I've got the gist of what you're saying. You don't need to explain every detail. I've got the gist of what you're saying. I've said my piece. I've said my piece. Meaning, I've expressed my opinion and have nothing more to add. I've expressed my opinion and have nothing more to add. I've said my piece, and now the final decision is up to you. I've said my piece, and now the final decision is up to you. In a rut. In a rut. Meaning, stuck in a boring or repetitive routine with no progress or excitement. Stuck in a boring or repetitive routine with no progress or excitement. I felt like I was in a rut at work, so I decided to take on a completely new challenge. I felt like I was in a rut at work, so I decided to take on a completely new challenge. It just clicked. It just clicked. Meaning, suddenly I understood something clearly. Suddenly I understood something clearly. I struggled with the grammar rule for weeks, and then one day it just clicked. I struggled with the grammar rule for weeks, and then one day it just clicked. It's a doddle. It's a doddle. Meaning, it's very easy. It requires little effort. It's very easy. It requires little effort. Don't worry about the test. Once you understand the structure, it's a doddle. Don't worry about the test. Once you understand the structure, it's a doddle. Jumping off point. Jumping off point. Meaning, a starting point for further discussion, development, or action. A starting point for further discussion, development, or action. Let's use this proposal as a jumping off point for refining the final strategy. Let's use this proposal as a jumping off point for refining the final strategy. Knock it off. Knock it off. Meaning, stop doing that. Stop behaving in a certain way. Stop doing that. Stop behaving in a certain way. Knock it off. You're going to break something if you keep messing around like that. Knock it off. You're going to break something if you keep messing around like that. Leaps and bounds. Leaps and bounds. Meaning, very quickly or by a large amount. Very quickly or by a large amount. Her confidence has grown by leaps and bounds since she started speaking English every day. Her confidence has grown by leaps and bounds since she started speaking English every day. Left high and dry. Left high and dry. Meaning, to be abandoned or left without help in a difficult situation. To be abandoned or left without help in a difficult situation. When the company pulled out of the deal at the last minute, we were left high and dry. When the company pulled out of the deal at the last minute, we were left high and dry. Like herding cats. Like herding cats. Meaning, extremely difficult to organize or control a group of people. Extremely difficult to organize or control a group of people. Trying to get everyone to agree on a meeting time was like herding cats. Trying to get everyone to agree on a meeting time was like herding cats. Living in La La Land. Living in La La Land. Meaning, being unrealistic, out of touch with reality, or overly dreamy. Being unrealistic, out of touch with reality, or overly dreamy. If you think you can succeed without putting in any effort, you're living in La La Land. If you think you can succeed without putting in any effort, you're living in La La Land. Look rattled. Look rattled. Meaning, to appear nervous, shaken, or unsettled. To appear nervous, shaken, or unsettled. He started to look rattled after being asked a series of tough questions. He started to look rattled after being asked a series of tough questions. Make ends meet. Make ends meet. Meaning, to have just enough money to cover basic living expenses. To have just enough money to cover basic living expenses. When I first moved to London, I had to take on 2 part-time jobs just to make ends meet. When I first moved to London, I had to take on 2 part-time jobs just to make ends meet. Muddy the waters. Muddy the waters. Meaning, to make a situation more confusing or unclear. To make a situation more confusing or unclear. Bringing up unrelated issues will only muddy the waters and distract us from the real problem. Bringing up unrelated issues will only muddy the waters and distract us from the real problem. Neck and neck. Neck and neck. Meaning, very close together in a race or competition, evenly matched. Very close together in a race or competition, evenly matched. The 2 candidates are neck and neck in the latest polls. The 2 candidates are neck and neck in the latest polls. No ifs, ands, or buts. No ifs, ands, or buts. Meaning, no excuses, conditions, or arguments allowed. No excuses, conditions, or arguments allowed. I want this report finished by tomorrow. No ifs, ands, or buts. I want this report finished by tomorrow. No ifs, ands, or buts. No mean feat. No mean feat. Meaning, an impressive or difficult achievement. An impressive or difficult achievement. Finishing a marathon without any prior training is no mean feat. Finishing a marathon without any prior training is no mean feat. No skin off my nose. No skin off my nose. Meaning, it doesn't affect me. I don't mind. It doesn't affect me. I don't mind. If you want to leave early, it's no skin off my nose. I'm staying anyway. If you want to leave early, it's no skin off my nose. I'm staying anyway. Not too shabby. Not too shabby. Meaning, quite good. better than expected. Quite good, better than expected. For your first attempt at public speaking, that was not too shabby at all. For your first attempt at public speaking, that was not too shabby at all. Odds and sods. Odds and sods. Meaning various small or miscellaneous items, bits and pieces. Various small or miscellaneous items, bits and pieces. I just need to pick up a few odds and sods from the shop before heading home. I just need to pick up a few odds and sods from the shop before heading home. On the sly. On the sly. Meaning secretly or without others knowing. Secretly or without others knowing. He checked his phone on the sly during the meeting so nobody would notice. He checked his phone on the sly during the meeting so nobody would notice. Potter about. Potter about. Meaning to spend time doing small, relaxed, unimportant tasks in a casual way. To spend time doing small, relaxed, unimportant tasks in a casual way. On Sundays, I like to potter about the house and catch up on a few small jobs. On Sundays, I like to potter about the house and catch up on a few small jobs. Pull the other one. Pull the other one. Meaning, I don't believe you. That's ridiculous. I don't believe you. That's ridiculous. You expect me to believe you finished all that work in an hour? Pull the other one. You expect me to believe you finished all that work in an hour? Pull the other one. Put feelers out. Put feelers out. Meaning to make informal inquiries to see what possibilities or reactions might be. To make informal inquiries to see what possibilities or reactions might be. I've started to put feelers out about potential job opportunities just to see what's available. I've started to put feelers out about potential job opportunities just to see what's available. Rattle it off. Rattle it off. Meaning to say something quickly and confidently, usually from memory. To say something quickly and confidently, usually from memory. I can rattle it off without even checking my notes. I can rattle it off without even checking my notes. Read the room. Read the room. Meaning to understand the mood or atmosphere in a situation and adjust your behaviour accordingly. To understand the mood or atmosphere in a situation and adjust your behaviour accordingly. Before making that joke, you should probably read the room. Before making that joke, you should probably read the room. Right as rain. Right as rain. Meaning completely fine or fully recovered after illness or difficulty. Completely fine or fully recovered after illness or difficulty. I felt terrible yesterday, but after a good night's sleep, I'm right as rain. I felt terrible yesterday, but after a good night's sleep, I'm right as rain. Save face. Save face. Meaning, to avoid embarrassment or humiliation, especially in front of others. To avoid embarrassment or humiliation, especially in front of others. He apologized publicly to save face after the mistake was exposed. He apologized publicly to save face after the mistake was exposed. See sense. See sense. Meaning, to start acting reasonably or making sensible decisions. To start acting reasonably or making sensible decisions. I hope he'll see sense and apologise before the situation gets worse. I hope he'll see sense and apologise before the situation gets worse. Sitting pretty. Sitting pretty. Meaning, to be in a comfortable, secure, or advantageous position. To be in a comfortable, secure, or advantageous position. After securing that long-term contract, the company is sitting pretty for the next few years. After securing that long-term contract, the company is sitting pretty for the next few years. Speaks in riddles. Speaks in riddles. Meaning, to talk in a confusing or mysterious way that is hard to understand. To talk in a confusing or mysterious way that is hard to understand. He never gives a straight answer. He always speaks in riddles. He never gives a straight answer. He always speaks in riddles. Sticky fingers. Sticky fingers. Meaning, a tendency to steal things, especially small items. A tendency to steal things, especially small items. The shop owner kept a close eye on him because he had a reputation for having sticky fingers. The shop owner kept a close eye on him because he had a reputation for having sticky fingers. Take the plunge. Take the plunge. Meaning, to decide to do something important or risky after hesitation. To decide to do something important or risky after hesitation. After months of uncertainty, she finally decided to take the plunge and start her own company. After months of uncertainty, she finally decided to take the plunge and start her own company. The icing on the cake. The icing on the cake. Meaning, an extra benefit that makes a good situation even better. An extra benefit that makes a good situation even better. Getting the promotion was fantastic, but the pay rise was the icing on the cake. Getting the promotion was fantastic, but the pay rise was the icing on the cake. Time will tell. Time will tell. Meaning, only the future will reveal the truth or outcome. Only the future will reveal the truth or outcome. We've made the decision. Now time will tell whether it was the right one. We've made the decision. Now time will tell whether it was the right one. tipping it down, tipping it down, meaning raining very heavily, raining very heavily. We were going to have a barbecue, but it's absolutely tipping it down outside. We were going to have a barbecue, but it's absolutely tipping it down outside. Up in arms, up in arms, meaning very angry or protesting strongly about something. Very angry or protesting strongly about something. Residents were up in arms after the council announced the sudden tax increase. Residents were up in arms after the council announced the sudden tax increase. Wiggle room, wiggle room, meaning flexibility or freedom to change or adjust something. Flexibility or freedom to change or adjust something. We don't have much wiggle room in the budget, so we'll need to prioritise carefully. We don't have much wiggle room in the budget, so we'll need to prioritise carefully. Apprehensive, apprehensive, meaning nervous about something that may happen. Nervous about something that may happen. I'm feeling a bit apprehensive about how the meeting will go tomorrow morning. I'm feeling a bit apprehensive about how the meeting will go tomorrow morning. Resentful, resentful, meaning still angry about something unfair. Still angry about something unfair. She became resentful after being passed over for promotion again. She became resentful after being passed over for promotion again. Despondent, despondent, meaning very low and hopeless. Very low and hopeless. He sounded completely despondent after hearing he didn't get the job. He sounded completely despondent after hearing he didn't get the job. Euphoric, euphoric, meaning extremely happy, extremely happy. She felt euphoric when she opened the email and saw she'd been accepted. She felt euphoric when she opened the email and saw she'd been accepted. Perturbed, perturbed, meaning slightly worried or disturbed. Slightly worried or disturbed. He looked visibly perturbed when he realised the deadline had changed. He looked visibly perturbed when he realised the deadline had changed. Disillusioned, disillusioned, meaning disappointed after realising the truth. Disappointed after realising the truth. She became disillusioned with the company once she saw how it really operated. She became disillusioned with the company once she saw how it really operated. Relieved, relieved, meaning free from worry or stress. Free from worry or stress. I felt genuinely relieved when the issue was finally sorted out properly. I felt genuinely relieved when the issue was finally sorted out properly. Exasperated, exasperated, meaning extremely annoyed, extremely annoyed. She sounded exasperated after explaining the same thing for the third time. She sounded exasperated after explaining the same thing for the third time. Wistful, wistful, meaning gently sad about the past, gently sad about the past. He gave a wistful smile as he talked about his childhood home. He gave a wistful smile as he talked about his childhood home. Apathetic, apathetic, meaning not caring anymore, not caring anymore. He's become quite apathetic about politics after years of disappointment. He's become quite apathetic about politics after years of disappointment. Meticulous, meticulous, meaning very careful and detailed, very careful and detailed. She's meticulous about her work and always checks everything twice. She's meticulous about her work and always checks everything twice. Astute, astute, meaning quick to understand things, quick to understand things. That was an astute observation, and it completely changed my perspective. That was an astute observation, and it completely changed my perspective. Tenacious, tenacious, meaning not giving up easily, not giving up easily. He's incredibly tenacious when he believes in something strongly. He's incredibly tenacious when he believes in something strongly. Eloquent, eloquent, meaning speaking clearly and beautifully, speaking clearly and beautifully. She gave an eloquent explanation that everyone could easily follow. She gave an eloquent explanation that everyone could easily follow. Pragmatic, pragmatic, meaning practical rather than emotional, practical rather than emotional. Let's take a pragmatic approach instead of arguing about small details. Let's take a pragmatic approach instead of arguing about small details. Magnanimous, magnanimous, meaning kind after winning or succeeding, kind after winning or succeeding. He was magnanimous in victory and praised his opponent openly. He was magnanimous in victory and praised his opponent openly. Candid, candid, meaning honest and direct, honest and direct. I appreciate your candid feedback, even if it's a bit uncomfortable. I appreciate your candid feedback, even if it's a bit uncomfortable. Charismatic, charismatic, meaning naturally charming, naturally charming. He's such a charismatic speaker that people instantly trust him. He's such a charismatic speaker that people instantly trust him. Resilient, resilient, meaning able to recover quickly, able to recover quickly. She's remarkably resilient and always bounces back after setbacks. She's remarkably resilient and always bounces back after setbacks. Scrupulous, scrupulous, meaning very honest and careful about rules. Very honest and careful about rules. He's scrupulous about following the rules and never cuts corners. He's scrupulous about following the rules and never cuts corners. Streamline, streamline, meaning make more efficient. Make more efficient. We need to streamline our workflow to save time and reduce stress. We need to streamline our workflow to save time and reduce stress. Leverage, leverage, meaning use something to your advantage. Use something to your advantage. She knows how to leverage her experience to open better career opportunities. She knows how to leverage her experience to open better career opportunities. Orchestrate, orchestrate, meaning carefully organize something. Carefully organize something. He knows how to orchestrate complex projects without making them feel chaotic. He knows how to orchestrate complex projects without making them feel chaotic. Mitigate, mitigate, meaning reduce harm or risk. Reduce harm or risk. This new policy should help mitigate potential financial losses. This new policy should help mitigate potential financial losses. Delegate, delegate, meaning give tasks to others. Give tasks to others. She finally learned how to delegate instead of doing everything herself. She finally learned how to delegate instead of doing everything herself. Prioritize, prioritize, meaning decide what's most important. Decide what's most important. You really need to prioritize your health over late nights at work. You really need to prioritize your health over late nights at work. Implement, implement, meaning put a plan into action. Put a plan into action. They know how to implement new ideas quickly without causing confusion. They know how to implement new ideas quickly without causing confusion. Upskill, upskill, meaning learn new skills. Learn new skills. He's trying to upskill this year so he can change careers. He's trying to upskill this year so he can change careers. Pivot, pivot, meaning change direction. Change direction. The company had to pivot quickly when the market suddenly shifted. The company had to pivot quickly when the market suddenly shifted. Oversee, oversee, meaning manage or supervise. Manage or supervise. She knows how to oversee large teams without micromanaging everyone. She knows how to oversee large teams without micromanaging everyone. Discern, discern, meaning notice or understand clearly. Notice or understand clearly. It's hard to discern his real motives from what he actually said. It's hard to discern his real motives from what he actually said. Contemplate. Contemplate. Meaning, think deeply. Think deeply. She's starting to contemplate a career change after years in the same role. She's starting to contemplate a career change after years in the same role. Infer. Infer. Meaning, guess based on evidence. Guess based on evidence. You can infer a lot about his mood from the way he's speaking today. You can infer a lot about his mood from the way he's speaking today. Rationalize. Rationalize. Meaning, justify emotionally. Justify emotionally. He tried to rationalize his mistake instead of admitting fault. He tried to rationalize his mistake instead of admitting fault. Scrutinize. Scrutinize. Meaning, examine closely. Examine closely. You should scrutinize the contract carefully before agreeing to anything. You should scrutinize the contract carefully before agreeing to anything. Speculate. Speculate. Meaning, guess about the future. Guess about the future. People love to speculate about what will happen next in the company. People love to speculate about what will happen next in the company. Evaluate. Evaluate. Meaning, judge carefully. Judge carefully. We need to evaluate all our options before making a final decision. We need to evaluate all our options before making a final decision. Anticipate. Anticipate. Meaning, expect something. Expect something. We should anticipate a few delays because of the bad weather this week. We should anticipate a few delays because of the bad weather this week. Reassess. Reassess. Meaning, look again at a decision. Look again at a decision. We need to reassess our plan now that the budget has changed. We need to reassess our plan now that the budget has changed. Concede. Concede. Meaning, admit reluctantly. Admit reluctantly. He had to concede that she was right after seeing all the evidence. He had to concede that she was right after seeing all the evidence. Articulate. Articulate. Meaning, express clearly. Express clearly. She knows how to articulate her concerns calmly during difficult meetings. She knows how to articulate her concerns calmly during difficult meetings. Assertive. Assertive. Meaning, confident but not rude. Confident but not rude. He needs to be more assertive when setting boundaries at work. He needs to be more assertive when setting boundaries at work. Diplomatic. Diplomatic. Meaning, careful with words. Careful with words. She handled the complaint in a very diplomatic way. She handled the complaint in a very diplomatic way. Coerce, coerce, meaning force someone, force someone. No one should coerce you into making a decision you're not comfortable with. No one should coerce you into making a decision you're not comfortable with. Allude, allude, meaning refer indirectly, refer indirectly. She tends to allude to problems without naming anyone directly. She tends to allude to problems without naming anyone directly. Reiterate, reiterate, meaning say again for emphasis, say again for emphasis. Let me reiterate the main point so there's no confusion. Let me reiterate the main point so there's no confusion. Interject, interject, meaning interrupt politely, interrupt politely. Sorry to interject, but could I clarify something quickly? Sorry to interject, but could I clarify something quickly? Persuade, persuade, meaning convince someone, convince someone. He tried to persuade her to stay by explaining the long-term benefits. He tried to persuade her to stay by explaining the long-term benefits. Convey, convey, meaning communicate meaning, communicate meaning. It's hard to convey emotion properly through a short text message. It's hard to convey emotion properly through a short text message. Downplay, downplay, meaning make something seem less important. Make something seem less important. She tends to downplay the risks even when everyone else is clearly worried. She tends to downplay the risks even when everyone else is clearly worried. Inevitable, inevitable, meaning certain to happen, certain to happen. Change is inevitable, especially in such a fast-moving industry. Change is inevitable, especially in such a fast-moving industry. Formidable, formidable, meaning very difficult or impressive, very difficult or impressive. She's a formidable opponent with years of experience behind her. She's a formidable opponent with years of experience behind her. Fleeting, fleeting, meaning lasting a short time, lasting a short time. The moment was fleeting, but I'll remember it forever. The moment was fleeting, but I'll remember it forever. Daunting, daunting, meaning intimidating, intimidating. The task felt daunting when I first looked at everything involved. The task felt daunting when I first looked at everything involved. Perilous, perilous, meaning dangerous, dangerous. The journey became perilous once the storm hit. The journey became perilous once the storm hit. Precarious, precarious, meaning unstable, unstable. His job situation feels precarious after the company's announcement. His job situation feels precarious after the company's announcement. Sustainable, sustainable, meaning long-term workable, long-term workable. We need a sustainable solution, not just a quick fix. We need a sustainable solution, not just a quick fix. Transformative, transformative, meaning life-changing, life-changing. It was a transformative experience that changed how I see everything. It was a transformative experience that changed how I see everything. Uncertain, uncertain, meaning not sure, not sure. The future feels uncertain, but I'm trying to stay hopeful. The future feels uncertain, but I'm trying to stay hopeful. Relentless, relentless, meaning never stopping, never stopping. The pressure was relentless, and I barely had time to rest. The pressure was relentless, and I barely had time to rest. Confront, confront, meaning face a problem, face a problem. She finally has the courage to confront him about the issue directly. She finally has the courage to confront him about the issue directly. Rectify, rectify, meaning fix a mistake, fix a mistake. We need to rectify the error before it causes bigger problems. We need to rectify the error before it causes bigger problems. Escalate, escalate, meaning become worse, become worse. The situation can escalate quickly if no one steps in to calm things down. The situation can escalate quickly if no one steps in to calm things down. Exacerbate, exacerbate, meaning make worse, make worse. Ignoring the problem will only exacerbate the situation. Ignoring the problem will only exacerbate the situation. Undermine, undermine, meaning weaken secretly, weaken secretly. He tends to undermine her authority by questioning her decisions in public. He tends to undermine her authority by questioning her decisions in public. Compromise, compromise, meaning find middle ground, find middle ground. They reached a compromise after hours of negotiation. They reached a compromise after hours of negotiation. Stalemate, stalemate, meaning situation with no progress, situation with no progress. Talks ended in stalemate with neither side willing to budge. Talks ended in stalemate with neither side willing to budge. Backlash, backlash, meaning strong negative reaction, strong negative reaction. There was public backlash after the announcement was made. There was public backlash after the announcement was made. Repercussion, repercussion, meaning bad result of an action, bad result of an action. He now faces a serious repercussion for ignoring company policy. He now faces a serious repercussion for ignoring company policy. Overlook, overlook, meaning fail to notice, fail to notice. It's easy to overlook small details when you're rushing through a report. It's easy to overlook small details when you're rushing through a report. Affluent, affluent, meaning rich, rich. They live in an affluent neighbourhood just outside the city. They live in an affluent neighbourhood just outside the city. Lucrative, lucrative, meaning making a lot of money, making a lot of money. It turned out to be a very lucrative business opportunity. It turned out to be a very lucrative business opportunity. Exorbitant, exorbitant, meaning unreasonably expensive, unreasonably expensive. The hotel prices were absolutely exorbitant during peak season. The hotel prices were absolutely exorbitant during peak season. Frugal, frugal, meaning careful with money, careful with money. He's frugal, but he still enjoys small luxuries occasionally. He's frugal, but he still enjoys small luxuries occasionally. Sustain, sustain, meaning maintain financially, maintain financially. We can't sustain these losses for much longer. We can't sustain these losses for much longer. Subsidize, subsidize, meaning pay part of the cost, pay part of the cost. The government plans to subsidize housing for low-income families. The government plans to subsidize housing for low-income families. Monetize, monetize, meaning make money from, make money from. They found a way to monetize their online audience. They found a way to monetize their online audience. Indebted, indebted, meaning owing money, owing money. He's heavily indebted after taking out multiple loans. He's heavily indebted after taking out multiple loans. Prosper, prosper, meaning do well financially, do well financially. The business began to prosper once demand increased. The business began to prosper once demand increased. Solvent, solvent, meaning able to pay debts, able to pay debts. The firm remains solvent despite the economic downturn. The firm remains solvent despite the economic downturn. Alienate, alienate, meaning make someone feel excluded, make someone feel excluded. That kind of comment can easily alienate people if you're not careful. That kind of comment can easily alienate people if you're not careful. Appease, appease, meaning calm someone down, calm someone down. He tried to appease the angry customer with a refund. He tried to appease the angry customer with a refund. Manipulate, manipulate, meaning control unfairly, control unfairly. Some people try to manipulate others by using guilt or emotional pressure. Some people try to manipulate others by using guilt or emotional pressure. Instigate, instigate, meaning start something bad. Start something bad. He tends to instigate arguments whenever the group is already under stress. He tends to instigate arguments whenever the group is already under stress. Exemplify. Exemplify, meaning be a good example of. Be a good example of. She really knows how to exemplify professionalism in everything she does at work. She really knows how to exemplify professionalism in everything she does at work. Invalidate. Invalidate, meaning make someone feel wrong. Make someone feel wrong. Don't invalidate her feelings just because you disagree. Don't invalidate her feelings just because you disagree. Impose. Impose, meaning force something. Force something. They should not impose strict rules without asking for feedback first. They should not impose strict rules without asking for feedback first. Conform. Conform, meaning follow rules or norms. Follow rules or norms. She refused to conform to outdated expectation. She refused to conform to outdated expectations. Defy. Defy, meaning refuse to obey. Refuse to obey. He continues to defy expectations and prove everyone wrong. He continues to defy expectations and prove everyone wrong. Endorse. Endorse, meaning publicly support. Publicly support. She's willing to endorse the campaign because she genuinely believes in it. She's willing to endorse the campaign because she genuinely believes in it. Expedite. Expedite, meaning make faster. Make faster. We need to expedite the delivery before the deadline passes. We need to expedite the delivery before the deadline passes. Prolong. Prolong, meaning make longer. Make longer. Let's not prolong the meeting unnecessarily. Let's not prolong the meeting unnecessarily. Deteriorate. Deteriorate, meaning become worse. Become worse. His health can deteriorate quickly if he doesn't start taking proper care of himself. His health can deteriorate quickly if he doesn't start taking proper care of himself. Stabilize. Stabilize, meaning make steady. Make steady. The government is trying to stabilize the economy after months of uncertainty. The government is trying to stabilize the economy after months of uncertainty. Accelerate. Accelerate, meaning speed up. Speed up. The new marketing strategy can accelerate growth much faster than before. The new marketing strategy can accelerate growth much faster than before. Stagnate. Stagnate, meaning stop progressing. Stop progressing. Progress began to stagnate once motivation dropped. Progress began to stagnate once motivation dropped. Emerge. Emerge, meaning appear. Appear. New problems can emerge once the system update goes live. New problems can emerge once the system update goes live. Persist, persist, meaning continue, continue. You have to persist even when progress feels slow and frustrating. You have to persist even when progress feels slow and frustrating. Subside, subside, meaning become less, become less. The pain should subside once the medication starts to work properly. The pain should subside once the medication starts to work properly. Culminate, culminate, meaning end at a high point, end at a high point. Years of hard work can culminate in a major career breakthrough. Years of hard work can culminate in a major career breakthrough. Overstimulated, overstimulated, meaning too much mental input, too much mental input. I feel overstimulated after scrolling social media all evening. I feel overstimulated after scrolling social media all evening. Disconnected, disconnected, meaning feeling distant, feeling distant. I felt disconnected from my friends since moving cities. I felt disconnected from my friends since moving cities. Unfulfilled, unfulfilled, meaning not satisfied, not satisfied. He felt unfulfilled at work despite earning good money. He felt unfulfilled at work despite earning good money. Burnout, burnout, meaning mental exhaustion, mental exhaustion. She's recovering from burnout after months of non-stop work. She's recovering from burnout after months of non-stop work. Hyperproductive, hyperproductive, meaning extremely productive, extremely productive. He's been hyper-productive since changing his morning routine. He's been hyper-productive since changing his morning routine. Workaholic, workaholic, meaning addicted to work, addicted to work. He admits he's a workaholic and struggles to relax. He admits he's a workaholic and struggles to relax. Isolated, isolated, meaning alone socially, alone socially. He felt isolated after working remotely for so long. He felt isolated after working remotely for so long. Self-sabotage, self-sabotage, meaning ruining your own progress, ruining your own progress. He keeps falling into self-sabotage whenever things start going really well for him. He keeps falling into self-sabotage whenever things start going really well for him. Detox, detox, meaning break from something unhealthy, break from something unhealthy. I'm doing a social media detox to clear my head. I'm doing a social media detox to clear my head. Overcommitted, overcommitted, meaning taking on too much, taking on too much. I've been overcommitted lately and need to slow down. I've been overcommitted lately and need to slow down. Profound. Profound, meaning deep and meaningful. Deep and meaningful. That conversation had a profound impact on how I see things. That conversation had a profound impact on how I see things. Compelling. Compelling, meaning very convincing. Very convincing. She gave a compelling argument that changed everyone's mind. She gave a compelling argument that changed everyone's mind. Noteworthy. Noteworthy, meaning worth noticing. Worth noticing. His progress this year has been truly noteworthy. His progress this year has been truly noteworthy. Unprecedented. Unprecedented, meaning never happened before. Never happened before. This level of growth is completely unprecedented. This level of growth is completely unprecedented. Ambiguous. Ambiguous, meaning unclear. Unclear. The message was so ambiguous that no one knew what to do. The message was so ambiguous that no one knew what to do. Counterproductive. Counterproductive, meaning having the opposite effect. Having the opposite effect. Yelling at people is completely counterproductive. Yelling at people is completely counterproductive. Exemplary. Exemplary, meaning perfect example. Perfect example. Her work ethic is exemplary and sets the standard. Her work ethic is exemplary and sets the standard. Debatable. Debatable, meaning open to argument. Open to argument. That point is debatable, depending on your perspective. That point is debatable, depending on your perspective. Ironic. Ironic, meaning the opposite of expected. The opposite of expected. It's ironic that he teaches time management but is always late. It's ironic that he teaches time management but is always late. Intriguing. Intriguing, meaning very interesting. Very interesting. That's an intriguing idea that's worth exploring further. That's an intriguing idea that's worth exploring further.